The monetary economic system is nothing more than a very elaborate and intricate slave-based system to favour the rich and greedy and to deprive the poor and vulnerable. Money is the chief currency of greed and represents all forms of human selfishness. On the other better hand, however, far more ethically and virtuously so, selflessness and simplicity of life allows for long-term contentment in life. Rather than spending our professional lives desperately trying to chase down the very best jobs we hope to achieve in want to fulfill our every hopes and desires, only then to end up disappointed and working ourselves into the ground to merely keep us afloat in this modern-day rat race of human ego and competition, living a life day to day of simplicity and the bare essentials can be a most rewarding and very liberating thing indeed, and for our good health too, if we take the right and good attitude to it, that is. Rather than always taking the elitist approach and attitude to life, always expecting the best of the best for ourselves and our favourites, if we settle our personal desires on the everyday stuff of living, it can be greatly rewarding for us long term. The reason for this is because the everyday stuff of life, like family, friends, community and nature, are the always immediates in life for us. And if we genuinely enjoy that for ourselves, we are set long term for true lasting contentment. I say contentment and not happiness because happiness, as so commonly used and wanted, is usually selfish based and can turn into a personal greed fest of satisfaction chasing of material gratifications further and further, one after the other. Contentment, on the other hand, is far more tempered, ethical and virtuous, most fairly and spiritually so. Contentment is being satisfied with the immediacies of life we have before us day to day. In that, sincere gratitude is greatly nurtured within us, and being humbly thankful for what we have in life already, and life in general. That does not mean we just rest up in that and not strive to do and attain greater pursuits in our life. No. It means we live a life of temperament and balance in what is always available at hand to us, and putting that to the very best ethical use for us and in the service of others, in the hope to provide for further contentment and joy collectively so. It takes very little to live a truly contented life, and the threshold for that is very low and available to us all, before it is crossed and turns into greed and indulgence. One of the very reasons why I am now so very much opposed to chasing down my boyhood Hollywood dreams now. Now in life for me, both earthly and spiritually, I would never want to live a Hollywood life or the life of the rich and famous. For most ethically and spiritually, my conscience would get the better of me for seeing all else who go without. Not until elitism and the good life becomes rightful equal status for all, never will I partake of this world's greedy, elitist, self-indulgent ways. It is a very huge misconception and black veil pulled over our eyes that the rich and famous are the most charitable of us, and what they give out is a mere pittance to what they have left over for their self-importance and favourites to live 1,000 lifetimes over. And in this respect, rightly and ethically so, there is no true virtue in this way of life, for usually their little charity only comes after years of establishing and making their millions, and in some cases billions. Only after a really hard reality check kicks in for them and they realise too much is far too much for any one person to rightly have. No poor widow syndrome in that very sad scenario of life there for them. No, not for me, thanks. Fame and fortune is a mug's game, and I have absolutely no time for it. Selfishness and greed is the devil nature, and is the cause and spur of all human suffering and prejudice in our world. Yes, we all want the very best out of life, most rightly so. But when it is kept only for ourselves and our favoured ones, and not shared out equally with all, that's where the problem always lies. There is enough resources on our planet, both natural and man-made, to go around most abundantly for us all. And the biggest crime and injustice on this planet of ours is that is reaped and monopolised by the favoured few and deprived from the majority of us all else. Not until that is shared most equally for all, I will never partake of the material rat race for fame and fortune, not only for the sake of my good conscience, but also, just as importantly, to maintain my good lasting health as well. At the end of the day, there is no burden upon us in living a contented life in the simplicity of the everyday, if we are willing to meekly accept that for ourselves in life. The man who rests his head on his pillow at night with no regrets is at peace with himself and is free and liberated. A very far cry from what many of the rich and famous ever truly attain in life for themselves. In the end, living a simple and humble life is always best. This is how genuine, lasting contentment is achieved for us in life.